Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Inside Workplace Wellbeing. So this week we are talking about a topic that has to do with AI because I talk AI a lot. So this time we're looking at it through the lens of the beauty industry, but also to take it back a little bit and to realize that we also have young people on our teams these days. A lot of companies have young people as well as, there's a mixture of generations and teams. And it's to sort of understand as well that, maybe a younger member of your team might be suffering with some of these issues. It's to open up the conversation. And it's also for people in the beauty industry to really go deep on these topics. So who else and who better to have to talk about this subject with me than co-founder of Sláinte Irish, I hope I said that right, beauty products, she will correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie Dent, you are so welcome.
Thank you for having me on. I am excited to talk about this topic with you.
So Jamie, talk us a little bit through about who you are and what you do and why are you now launching this product?
So my name is Jamie Dent. I am co-founder of Sláinte Irish, and we make organic skincare that's infused with the Irish sea moss. And we are targeting skin health over the unrealistic beauty standards that are put on us by the beauty industry. Your skin is the largest organ on your body, and it's very important that you do take care of it because it's something that you're going to be wearing for the rest of your life. So we are focusing on skin health more than anything else.
And I love that. And I love the whole ethos. And that's why you're on here, because I do love the ethos of what you're doing. You know, you have a lovely product, which you are doing very well with and getting, stocked in high quality places in Ireland, because people can obviously see that the value of it, but also the ethos around it about this, looking at the beauty industry. And I think that's what really interested me in the whole having us having this conversation around then the whole AI, because it's quite unfortunate. I know when I was younger, well, that's a long time ago, but things were definitely different. But we still obviously had self-esteem issues when we were younger. They were just different. But now for younger people, they have, most of them are born with understanding technology and having smartphones, watching their parents on smartphones. And now we have AI, which of course isn't a new thing. It's been around for a long time. But really, like the whole thing about, I mean, I know for a fact I've started to use TikTok more for a certain part of my business. And I actually turned on video yesterday and suddenly I had a pair of false eyelashes on. And I was like, ooh, wow, I don't know if I like that. So it's this, I was offered, a change to my look immediately when I went on to a TikTok video, and I could change it and I could have my skin look smoother. It's fascinating and it's quite flattering at times. Maybe not the eyelashes for me, but this is what we're talking about. Like when a young person who at this stage of my life, I would hope that I'm more emotionally intelligent to understand that that's not reality and that it's a bit of fun, or that if I do choose to use one, I'm using it like from a conscious and intentional place. But for young people who, are not, whose self-esteem is more based on external validation and all that. Talk to me, Jamie, about these, AI images that are unrealistic and unattainable, really. But it's what young people are faced with these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of filters out there that really change your aesthetic. So when you have these influencers who are out there, regardless of what they're pushing, right, on to us, our children, it's given them a sense of like, this is what I have to look like in order to achieve this, which is it then puts all these thoughts in their heads and just feelings of being less than. So with those unrealistic beauty standards, we run into a whole plethora of issues, right? We have eating disorders that come about. We have, self-harming because of, not fitting in. So the AI generation is really, there's some aspects of it that's really great, right? It's because, they personalize some products to you by, scanning your face and seeing what your skin tone is. It's great for marketing strategies for businesses. But when it comes to these filters and the changing of aesthetics, it's just really harmful for children because some may never fall into that because we're all unique and different.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Like it is that uniqueness, but unfortunately, in our early developmental stage, we are looking for that outside validation. I mean, I have sons, and even, you know, notice that it's like they all wear the same clothes, they all have the same haircut, no matter what age they are, you know. And it's almost, I don't know, sometimes do I say a fear of being unique and a fear of being themselves, because it's not something that they're brought up with, because of all this falseness that they have on a daily basis. So really, like it is, and it's bringing up these conversations when children are younger, and when they're beginning to form their opinion of themselves, and to have a beauty brand then that really focuses on this, about the internal beauty rather than the external.
Exactly. You know, it's about taking care of yourself so that you can be your best self. So it's not changing who you are to fit the mold that society, beauty industry, your friends, your family, whoever is pushing on you. So it's just to be your true authentic self and shine and do what you do best.
And how do you find that the beauty industry today is using AI mostly?
So they're using it, like I said, some aspects of it is really great, right? They're
Yeah,
using it where you can scan your face and be like, I have a T-zone, or this is what I have. And these are some products that could help, you know, cure my acne or prevent the dryness or eczema. So that aspect, that's great that you can actually see that. But then when you see, you know, like photoshopping's been around for a long time, right? It's been something
yeah,
that's been in magazines forever. But you actually see the changing of aesthetics on somebody. So you can see like their waistline go from this to this, and on a photo, or you can see where they've changed the nose or the jawline, and it's just giving them this perfect person that nobody's going to be, because again, no one is perfect because we're all unique and different. So I think that is just really putting a, I would say, like, pressure on not just girls but boys as well, on
totally.
you have to be this in order to fit in, and you don't have to be. You just have to be who you are.
And how do you think that we can get that across? That's a big question.
Yeah, it's a huge question, and I think it starts at home, right? It starts with your family, you know? It starts with having those conversations with our daughters, our sons, our nieces, our nephews, our brothers, whoever it is, having those conversations about being your unique self.
Yeah, because there is this, and like I know you've mentioned it already, the blurring of the lines between reality and fiction,
Mhm.
and it creating this contorted sort of a sense of self and all. So, you know, really, uh, as well as us as parents, or caregivers, or whoever is influential in a child's life, what do you think the beauty industry can also do in order to safeguard and, you know, stand out maybe as being an industry leader in protecting our young people?
I think it starts with education. So educate why you want to use a certain product, right? Educate on, you know, what the effects of it will have on you. So, you know, you use this product, if you use it, this is what's going to happen with your skin. It's going to increase the, you know, the plumpness of it. And this is why you use it. Or if you have a skin issue, this is what you use. I don't think that we need to use it to say like, oh, I need to take away my wrinkles, because wrinkles are a badge of honor, right? That means that you've lived life. So I think it's just more so an education aspect of it instead of an aesthetic and a standard of what you should look like. And it all begins with that. Education is key to anything. The more you know, the more you can make an educated decision, as opposed
We've lost you there a moment, Jimmy. Here we have you back. Yeah, so you're saying there about education.
to just follow. Yeah, it's huge. Education.
We lost you there for a moment.
Is just start with that.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're coming in. Sorry. I'm sorry for talking over you there, but you were gone for us and now you're back to us. That's fine. Because it really begins at a young age, like kids as young as 8 are being targeted really. And like, you know, I talk about this a lot as well, about the psychology of sales, which a lot of people do, you know. I mean, when we are selling to something, we're trying to get into the psychology of getting into what we think the person needs. And like really, when we think of this being used and targeted towards 8-year-old girls or 8-year-old boys as well, of course, it's kind of scary, really, isn't it? How young the sales psychology is being used and working.
It is extremely scary. I mean, at 88 years old, is what you said. I have read several articles and have done a lot of research that at 8 years old, girls hear that, you know, you have to use this because it smells good. It's like you're being told that you smell bad. You're being told that your hair is not shiny enough. It's not, you know, full enough, and that you need, you know, these eyelashes and you need this. And it just starts at such a young age where you're so impressionable because you're like a sponge taking in everything. So with having that message sent to them, it's something that's going to follow them for the rest of their life. In their subconscious, you know, that's going to always be in the background, and they're always going to be thinking that, you know, this is what I have to be, this is how I have to look, this is how I have to dress in order to be accepted. So it was extremely disturbing when I read that, because, you know, go back thinking to all the commercials that we saw when we were kids. You know, we didn't have the technology we have now, but just how some of the things were targeted towards us.
Absolutely. And then as a young person, we internalize these digital standards that are, you know, as we said already, unattainable, because they're just not real.
No.
But how does a child know that?
They don't. And that's where these, like, you know, affects their self-image. And that carries on through adulthood, right? They're always going to be very self-conscious of who they are, you know, both at a physical standpoint and, you know, an emotional standpoint as well.
Absolutely, because these internalized feelings we have and standards and feelings about ourselves, they motivate us, and they motivate us in all parts of our life. They can affect our relationships in the future, because we bring these with us everywhere until we change them. Our beliefs about ourselves, our beliefs about are we good enough, and if we're actually giving our power away to an AI digital standard. It's terrible to look at it that way, to realize that we're actually giving our power away to something that's not even real, that it's actually something that's been technology has generated. So really it's about that, taking our power back, isn't it, from our stories, and like, let's help our young children not develop those internalized stories from a young age, rather than them having to, you know, peel away the layers when they are motivated from them.
Yeah. And it's like how, you know, you did a workshop on confidence, right? And it's just building that from a young age to do that. Again, education. Education is a key word on this, is just give them those tools, right? And I think those tools can be given by anybody. And I would like to see more of that in like a school setting as well, you know, because, you know, kids are kids. They're going to, you know, poke fun at each other. They're going to, you know, some are cruel, some are not. But I think it would be great just to provide some sort of, you know, education around that and acceptance. And I think it is getting better. You know, with some of the younger kids who are coming through, I think in time it will be, you're going to accept everybody for who they are, right? So their uniqueness, what they bring to the world and how they view it. So we need all types, right? So I think eventually it will be good, but for right now, it starts with education. Educate them about it.
And you know, like this word influencers, digital influencers, is always, it's something that I've grappled with myself, because, you know, I I have been involved with projects, etc. But I think we're all influencers once we speak online, because what we say is influencing somebody, no matter what it is. And I think that we really have to take ownership of what we put out online ourselves, because we can be influencing people. So I think we're all digital influencers.
We're all digital influencers. I mean, I started off in education as a teacher, and that was one of the main things I would always tell the parents. I'm like, you're a teacher just as much as I am, because you taught your child to walk, to talk, to tie their shoes. I'm just here teaching them something different. So I think it starts with everybody. And now, since we have technology at our hands, for those of us who are going online, who are selling products, we really need to use our words with care, and how that's taken in with everybody. So I agree.
So we have some comments. Yeah, sorry, we have some comments there. Thank you, Mary Pat Kavanagh, for commenting. And a very good point brought up by Mary Pat, and thank you for saying it, because it's like, as she says, the AI machine learning is programmed by humans, so their beliefs are used to impact the AI results. It needs to change, and it's true, because that's one thing that we have to realize about AI. And when I do AI in well-being workshops with companies as well, is helping companies to understand that what is being generated by AI needs to be monitored, because AI is only as good as what people are inputting into it, and that can create unconscious bias. It can cause like someone's beliefs to be forced down people's throat. We can't take everything we get generated on AI. I love AI. I think it's wonderful, as long as we monitor it, like as you said there as well, and it's to, as Mary Pat said, just to realize that, look for those, if you're generating a post for your beauty post, or whether you're influencing someone in relation to mindset, is that read your post and make sure that it really sits well with your internal values and beliefs, because it could be influenced by somebody else's bias. And this could be a bias on anything, whether it's gender, whether it's anything societal or whatever. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm new to the AI world myself, right? This was something that it took me a long time to try to grasp and try to say, like, how can this be helpful? And when I write like any sort of our social media post, or if I'm going to like write a blog post or something like that, I really, I will write it first. I will generate it into like an AI, just to see how it takes on my personality, right? Because it will take on my personality and how I would, script and say something. And when it comes out, I really have to go through and proof it, because I'm like, I would have never used this word, so I have to get that out. So it's kind of like I take it as like having a tutor, right? So you're going to write your paper, you're going to hand it to somebody, and they're going to go through and they're going to make their comments on it, right? They're going to say, take this word out. It needs to have a comma here, whatever that is. But I think you just really have to read over, and don't do like an instant post, right? Just like sit on it and be like, how does this make me feel 5 minutes later when I go back and read it, or 30 minutes later when I go back and read it? So it's just as if you read a message or an email. It's like, are you going to respond in the heat of the moment with emotions, or are you going to sit on it and then come back and be like, okay, I may have just misinterpreted it, I'm going to respond this way, and how does this sit with me? So I think you're using AI, great, whatever it is that you're doing, but come back and actually look at it and say, is this really a representation of me and what I want out there? So that's how I see it on there.
And that really is bringing in the whole ethical part of AI as well, isn't it? And exactly, being very true to yourself and following your core values. And really, again, like, really, is there enough transparency in the beauty business? Like you were saying there, we can all use it to help our posts, for sure, help us give structure around what we might be trying to say. But it's really, being true. Again, it comes back to the whole transparency bit about, if we are generating images, should we disclose them? Should we, allow our the people we're trying to influence, should we let them know that this image has been AI generated? Like the image I put up to share this morning, that was an AI generated post. And I did put that into I didn't have to, and I don't think it really made, but I did put it on one of my posts to say AI generated this. So again, that's the positive side, how AI produced a phenomenal image for me because I gave it the exact data I wanted. And on the other hand, then being very transparent, and I'm telling people that I'm using it for good, but yet I'm having a conversation about how it can be used negatively. So I went a bit all over the place there, but I think it's this weaving together of being transparent and how the beauty industry can really take ownership of that whole conversation as well.
And I think you're onto a point. That's something I didn't even consider is when we use any sort of like imaging, like stock imaging from Adobe or something like that. There are just these images that, you pay to use in your advertisement. I think that it should be stated like, this is an image or this was generated by AI, so that people know that if you look at somebody who is as flawless as they get, right, as perfect as somebody can get, they will know that this was touched up. This is, it was an AI generated just for, I would say, maybe entertainment purposes or just for an education purpose on there. And I think that would really help, not just like the young kids, but even like, grown adults, like, myself or you or, our friends, like when they see something, they're like, oh, this is what I have to compete with. This is what I have to look like now. So I think it would be just great to see, hey, this is a mythical goddess here. This is not what you really have to look like, but this is what we're using to get a point across. Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. I mean, it's not just about young people as well. It's about, it's about people maybe that are at the menopausal part of their life, oh, here we go. Here, this is all the things that I'm going through, let's say. And again, it's like if you scroll through some of the social platforms, you can be like this. If you try this product, you'll get away, or you'll get rid of your menopausal belly if you did this, or you won't have to, if you do your face yoga, you look like this in 5 days. So really, I mean, and I'm not knocking them. I mean, a lot of these things help, obviously, but again, it's to know what's real and what's not real. And I do struggle with that sometimes as to authenticity, because being authentic is one of my core values. So it triggers me when I see things that I'm not too sure whether they're authentic or not. But that's my problem to grapple with. It's not everyone's. So, I think, yes, it is a journey that we can all look at no matter what age of our life we're on. As I said yesterday, I haven't shared it yet, but I did create a video where I went, oh, when I got the false eyelashes that I mentioned at the beginning, when I was just offered these false eyelashes, I did change my complexion. It kind of just made my face look smoother. I went, why not? And I did a little video, very short video. So, but like using it sort of, I'm okay with it. It didn't change my complete, I wasn't trying to share a message about something that was going against what I was doing. You know what I mean? So again, and I will be having these conversations and telling people, oh, this is, here, I got a little bit of help from AI. So it kind of brings in the positive part of it as well, because I'm not knocking AI. I think it's phenomenal, as I say, but it's about, and this conversation is about how we can be, realistic and use AI for good.
Yeah. And there is, like we were talking earlier, there's a lot of great reasons to use it, right? There is, scanning your face to see what type of products you may need for, let's just say, an outbreak. You're like, is this acne? It may not be acne, it may be something else, right? That type of stuff comes such a long ways, because, most of the time you have to go to a dermatologist, and how long does it take to get in? And then you have all these like expensive creams and, trying to take care of it. So there's a lot of ways that AI is really doing wonders. I don't wear makeup, but when I was in the States, I went into like Ulta, which is, has all the skincare and makeup. And this lady's like, here, like, let me scan your face and we'll see like what kind of foundation you need to use. And I'm like, I've never used foundation, but okay, let's go for it. And it was just so crazy because it actually put the color on me. Like, it was like, it scanned my face, took a picture, And then
Oh,
all I would have to do was buy it. Like I would not have had to like go through and try 20 different types to see what would actually work for me. And then it even like lightened my face for like winter. Like this is what color you would use for winter. So that's great. So that, you're not spending a lot of time like putting stuff on, trying to see if it looks good. I think that aspect is great. I think it's great helping you, form your post and get information out there, or like coming up with those really cool pictures like you did, like some of those that are the fun things that are out there. And then again, when somebody's generating, I had a friend who put her face into the AI and is trying to generate a kind of like a professional profile picture without having to get her pictures taken, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And she had like 6 fingers on one hand. So it's
yeah,
like, it's not perfect. So you really have to
no.
pay attention. And she did not notice it. And she like posted it as like her profile picture. So on her, like she had her arms crossed, she had 6 fingers. And I'm like, you got to take that down, So you really have to watch it again, because it's not perfect, because it's the information we give it, right? It's like, it's scanning the internet for information. It's what we plug into it. It's like how we train it. So again, just be very mindful and cautious of how you're using it when you are using it.
And that's very common, actually, having 6 fingers in photographs. It's funny. I'm doing a course at the moment, and one of the things our wonderful teacher is showing us is how to use AI for good. But like the images, the images are often 6 fingers. Yeah, so that's interesting. Jamie, what are you doing in your business? Talk to us a little about your products and how you are, having this conversation, really trying to get across what beauty really is, an internal
Yeah.
force,
Well,
for want of a better word.
yeah. So to me, I think beauty, like nobody can define what beauty is, because beauty is going to be different from one person to the next. So who are we to say like, this is beautiful? Because I mean, it's beautiful to me, but to the person standing next to me, there might be like, what are you talking about? That's the
Yeah.
most horrific thing I've ever seen. I think, me personally, I think beauty is not like something that a person possesses, because and not to okay, not to say that you look at people and be like, oh my gosh, they're beautiful, but I think like your uniqueness and everything about you is who makes you who you are, right? So we can't define it, we can only feel it. So I think that it's, again, that old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because it's all different. But we're really focusing on skin health. Like really take care of yourself, because we do everything we can to like take care of our insides, right? We eat right. We take care of our brain. We read, we take classes, we have hobbies, like, something like that. But do you really think about what you're doing to your skin? Again, your skin's the largest organ on your body. Are
Mhm.
you being careful what you're applying on it? All these different types of, lotions they have out there, they have a lot of chemicals because they want it to smell good. They want, again, you're targeted that you have to smell a certain way. So you are being
Mm.
told that you have to smell good. So you have, raspberry smells, strawberry smells, whatever it is. But over a long period of time, what are those actually doing to your skin? Is it doing
Yes.
more harm than what you think? So we really want to focus on taking care of your skin. Your skin is, it protects you from everything, like from the elements that are out. Like what your skin does for you is absolutely amazing. So it's just from head to toe, take care of it, appreciate it, and get all these minerals that you need in it. So that's one thing with the Irish sea moss, has 92 of the 102 minerals that your body needs on a daily basis. So let it absorb into your skin and go into your body, and you're going to have all these amazing benefits. It has natural collagen in it. It has iodine. It really does so much good for you. So we're really trying to push very simple skincare. You don't need a 13-step skincare routine at all. I don't know who has that much time to do it, but I've seen it out there. I know people who've done it, but it's just these very simple ingredients. Our serums only have 4 organic ingredients, and it does such wonders for your skin. So really just taking care of your skin and being confident in it, and appreciating it and loving who you are and letting that shine so everybody else can see it. So that's what we're
Mm.
really pushing, is authenticity and skin health.
I love it. Again, authenticity, one of my favorite words.
Yes, yes.
And I think that, and like, I suppose really, I don't want this conversation to be negative, and I don't think we are making it negative by talking about. I think we're talking about, beauty awareness. We're talking about, possibly a self-love journey. And that goes back to what we were saying about trying to place beauty, because beauty is very subjective. Come within, what is beauty to me? Bring it back into redefining beauty, to ourselves first, rather than looking for the external validation. What does it mean to me? What does beauty mean to me? And basing then your everything on that, regardless of what the outside world tells you. And I think when you adopt that, you can have then, go on maybe and have a bit of fun with filters and that, but you're not looking for the external validation. You already have to find your own beauty standard, and then you're having fun with it. How about that?
Yeah.
Reverse engineering. I like that.
Yeah, you're having fun with it. And sometimes, a filter is needed to like lighten something up, and it doesn't really
Yes.
do a huge altercation on who you are. It's just like, let's light it up. Let's do that. And some of it is fun when you're like, oh my gosh, look at it really brings out this blue that, got faded in the picture, but you can actually see that, it's a beautiful blue. And I think that, some people may use it if their skin's not great, but that makes us who we are. Like some days I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have the greatest skin in the world. And then like other days I'm like, am I going to ever stop breaking out? Like, is there a certain age where you should stop breaking out? But you're going to have it because our bodies change, right? As women, we're constantly, going through stuff, and our bodies are changing. And I think it's great to share that, because again, it's like you're being real and you're being who you are, you're being authentic. But sometimes, like if it's too bad, a little tiny touch up that doesn't really alter your whole appearance, it's just like smooth something out, I'm okay with that, and yeah, I think we just really need to embrace who we are as people.
Yeah, and it really starting with that, and I love that, because I like that too. Yeah, I mean, if I get breakouts, I'll cover them if I want to go out and I want to, and I do it for myself, not necessarily about it's to make me feel good. And I don't think there's anything wrong with when we do it from a place of wanting to feel good ourselves. Again, it's that internal validation rather than having it always brought back to the external. Jamie, shout out your where people can get in contact with you, and I'll put it here on the where's the best place for people to look at your website. And
so you can find us online at SláinteSeamoss.com.
SLAINTESEAMOSS.com.
Yes. And our Instagram handle is Sláinte_Seamoss. And then you can find us at Standoon, Kylemore Abbey, Foxford and Westport, Woolen Mills, Knock and Shannon Airport as well. So we're in a few places.
And it's great because, if people are flying out from Knock or Shannon, they can go have a look at some Sláinte Seamoss products, and also in beautiful places like Kylemore and Foxford.
Yes.
Maybe is there anything you'd like to leave us with? And thank you for the wonderful, insightful conversation and for giving us your insights. But is there anything that they're the last kind of like little piece you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And I just want to leave everybody with, be who you are, because who you are, it's like your fingerprint. There's going to be nobody else like you. So that's how you should live life.
Absolutely. And can you imagine, like, if we brought this into a team, how wonderful it would be, where we educate people, which is a point that you definitely want to get across, which I totally agree with as well. Education about who we are ourselves. When we help each other on a team, educate that we are all different, that we're all motivated by different things, that we all have different things going on in our life, and then educate people on the whole AI and how, you know, we have to embrace it lovingly in a way that we realize
Exactly.
that it's not always going to be this perfect thing, but we don't have to fear it either. We have control over it. We have control over what it sparks out to us. We can look at that, and as you said earlier, we can balance it, have a look and see, does it feel good to us? And really, if we work that way with AI, we can take a lot of the fear away from it.
Yeah, definitely. And to bring back talk about, like, you know, working together, and, you know, if you're being different, I think that's what is great, is that so many people are different because they will have a different viewpoint, or their skill set may be stronger in one area that yours isn't, right? So, and I enjoy being around people who are different because I learn so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what may not be my zone of genius is theirs, and you can just learn so much. So that's why I always tell people, embrace who you are, like stand out, be different, because you're going to bring so much to the table, because somebody's going to learn something from you.
Love it. And I think it's a great ethos to have. I love the mission. I love everything about your business. So best of luck with it. And, you know, it can only, when you're coming from such a good place, it can only thrive.
Yes. Yeah.
Jamie, thank you so much for having this
Thank
important
you.
conversation with us. And certainly we'll have you back again talking. And if people want to contact you, they can certainly look you up through your website or any of the other social channels. Jamie, have a great rest of the long weekend.
You too. Thank you.